You're listening to the Royalty of Rock, a celebration of the rock empire. I'm your host, Billy Jugs, along with co-host Mike Harrison, paying tribute to the reigning monarchs of rock and roll. This hour, we turn the spotlight on two of the most consistently popular groups in the realm, Foreigner and Journey. The Anglo-American band Foreigner was formed in London in the mid-70s by singer-guitarist Mick Jones and guitarist and keyboard man Ian MacDonald. They recall the group's beginnings.
It was really sort of basically through very modest beginnings and just sort of kept getting in touch with people. I was sort of writing a lot of songs at that point in time, and on talking to people and you know, just sort of talking with Ian as well, you know, at the very outset. We didn't quite know what to do, whether to make it a group or, you know, what to do, but...
So we were both at similar stages in our career. We were both sort of ready to do something important and substantial, and I didn't quite know what I was going to do. I was thinking of making a record or doing something or other, you know, forming a band, and it just happened to coincide with what, you know, Mick was thinking of doing, so we joined forces.
The other members of what was originally a six-man band included Dennis Elliott, Lou Gramm, Al Greenwood, and Ed Gagliardi.
Dennis, the drummer, has played with quite a number of people. When I met him when he was playing with the Ian Hunter and Mick Ronson band.
But he was with If for quite a while before that. Group called If.
And the American section of the band, which is, you know, the other Lou, the lead singer, Ed Gagliardi, the bass player, and Al Greenwood, keyboard player. They're all, as you know, I don't know how many people know that's a mixed band, as it were. But there are 3 Americans, 3 English. And Lou was in a group called Black Sheep, which was from upstate New York. And Al and Ed really had sort of fairly... they didn't have a lot of experience with traveling on the road and performing rock and roll as we do now.
Ironically, even though they are one of the most successful rock and roll bands of all time, with their first 4 albums selling 5 million, 7 million, 3 million, and 6 million copies respectively, the critics have always given Foreigner a pretty hard time. For example, Los Angeles Times rock critic Robert Hilburn.
They're enormously skilled at making a grandiose, commercial, hook-filled, catchy kind of music, but it's totally, to my mind, it's totally empty and unimportant.
Cold as Ice was the second smash single from Foreigner's debut album, Mick Jones and Ian MacDonald.
Well, we hope, you know, obviously we were sort of, when we had the finished product, the album and everything, we were very confident in that we had done something. I mean, I was very proud of what we'd done, and we all were. To go from there to you know,
you can never expect
what has happened.
I mean, you can never expect sort of that kind of thing. You can hope for it, and we'd certainly tried.
A lot of people, I think, had the impression that we were put together in that type of situation, that there was a fortune of money poured into this thing and everything. But it was done with pretty modest beginnings, you know, and it sort of I think that was what made it tight in those early stages, where we were all really beamed in on one thing, basically, and that was the group, you know, and the feeling, and that feeling evolved over those
still
preparatory stages, and it's got us through a lot of sticky situations, you know, a lot of pressure situations.
Their success continued to grow, and with the release of their second album, Double Vision, the dynamics of Foreigner's rock and roll began to intensify.
We'll have more words and music from Foreigner in a moment, when the Royalty of Rock continues. The Royalty of Rock continues now with our profile of the music and impact of Foreigner.
Foreigner produces an unpretentious brand of straight-ahead rock and roll. According to founding member Mick Jones, it took him many years to arrive at the point of being able to do that.
I think I've probably learnt not to get too deeply into what I'm doing exactly, and to the point where I lose sort of sight of what I want to do. Let's say with Spooky Tooth, I thought that happened a little bit very often. We over-elaborated on a lot of things, and the final result was that it didn't really come across. Sort of overproduction. I learnt that I had been holding back my more aggressive side for a while.
Mick Jones and Ian MacDonald.
Getting better.
The critics may have mixed feelings about the significance of their music, but millions of fans around the world have made it clear that they rank Foreigner among the upper echelon of the royalty of rock. We've got some of the best music by some of the most influential musicians in rock history on parade as we present our very special radio event, The Royalty of Rock. I'm Billy Jugs, and we turn the spotlight now on the five-man band Journey. Co-host Mike Harrison.
Just like Foreigner, Journey is extremely popular with the fan. Members Jonathan Cain, Neil Schon, and Steve Perry do most of the songwriting for the group. According to Schon, it's a collaborative effort.
Sometimes, a person has a preconceived idea of the whole arrangement and the whole song by themselves, and they'll bring in the whole thing finished and say this is the way it goes. And then sometimes, like a lot of my songs, the ones that I write the music. I write all the music, and I have like a preconceived idea about what the music should be. And I don't have any idea about lyrics. I have some ideas about melody, and I'll just hum them to like Steven, and then he'll finish writing the melody and finish writing the lyrics. And then other ones we'll sit in the room, all of us together, and write a tune, all of us together. But like there's like about three different, those three different ways right there and that's about the way Journey works anyway.
In addition to their songwriting, their melodies, and their instrumentation, the group Journey is known for a distinctive sound, a sound that is recognizable unto itself. According to Neil Schon,
More in our salute to Journey in a moment, when the Royalty of Rock continues. You're listening to the Royalty of Rock, a celebration of the rock empire. I'm your host, Billy Jugs, along with co-host Mike Harrison, putting the finishing touches on our profile of Journey. One of the group's popular tracks is Walks Like a Lady. Neil Schon recalls the writing of that song.
Steven, I remember I was walking in rehearsal one day, and he had on a bass. He plays bass, he writes with the bass, Perry does. And he was sitting there by himself just playing the bass line and singing the tune. He wrote like the song, right? I just, added the guitar riffs that are in between it. But he wrote the song, and I just walked in and I heard him playing that, and I said, hey, that sounds pretty cool. I picked up the guitar and started filling in little fills in between his vocals and stuff, and that was all there was to that song, and it was really easy.
Journey sells both a lot of records and a lot of concert tickets. Naturally, at their concerts, there is a certain amount of pressure for them to sound like they do on record. Neil Schon.
We try to keep it somewhat similar, because there's an awful lot of people out there that want to hear it like that, and they don't understand it any other way. They want to hear it just like what's on the radio, unless you want to change just a couple little things, and they can handle that. But if you try and do a, about face on them or a U-turn, no way. It just goes over their heads. So some of the songs, though, we do change a lot, or we'll write segues that go in between different songs that are not on the records, just so that we can stay interested with it. Because there's only so many times you can duplicate something exactly the same and survive.
The words and music of Journey, one of the major forces among the royalty of rock.